Gentlemen, today everyone talks about their productivity, but the truth is, most people are just beautifully pretending to improve themselves. Early rising, working out, mirror mantras, all of this is correct, the foundation that no one argues with. But discipline by itself is not a result. It is only the minimal entry point. What truly changes life is not what you do once or twice and post on stories. It's about habits that reshape your attention system, your environment, and your reflection. They turn you into a person that power naturally gravitates toward. People, opportunities, decisions come to places where there is clarity, calm, and results. This is not a trick. This is the effect of consistency. And today, we will explore 5 habits that produce this effect, not beautifully on paper, but in reality. If you love quick hacks, this is not the video for you. But if you want to change your trajectory, stay with us. Let's begin. And yes, forget the extra noise. We don't need it. In a world where everyone rushes to say something, silence has become a luxury. We live in an era of noise. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone speaks, argues, proves a point. But here's the interesting part. According to Harvard Business School, the more a person talks about their goals, the less likely they are to actually achieve them. A paradox, because when you tell others about a plan, the brain already feels a hit of reward, as if the goal has been completed, and motivation drops. So when someone says, "I'll start on Monday," the brain has already taken its dopamine hit, and Monday, as they say, never really arrives. A real man keeps quiet. He listens. He analyzes. He draws conclusions. He knows that words are energy. The less you waste it on noise, the more you have left for action. Look around. Those who speak the loudest are usually the ones who do the least. At first they're listened to, and then people stop listening, because words without deeds quickly lose weight. A man who constantly promises but never delivers loses not only respect, he loses reputation. And reputation is currency. Devalue it once, and your words no longer carry weight. And this is not philosophy. It's psychology. Social research shows that people's perception of someone is directly tied to the ratio of their words to their actions. Talk a lot, and you become less believable. Talk little, but deliver, and you begin to inspire trust. Authentic strength is not in loud declarations. It's in not needing to prove anything. When people see your result, they understand who you are. There's an old business joke in the US. Those who actually make money are usually too busy to talk about it. This isn't sarcasm, it's true, because results speak softer and they are heard more clearly. So your first habit, speak less, do more. Don't announce your goals to the world, make the world see them. When you act in silence, power begins to gravitate toward you. People sense confidence, they feel the scale. You become someone they trust without words, someone whose presence speaks for itself. And it's precisely in those moments of calm and solitude that the sharpest decisions and strongest ideas are born. That's why the next habit is to understand the value of time spent alone. Solitude is not isolation, it's strategy. Most people are afraid to be alone. They need constant background movement, conversations, notifications, noise, people around them, because silence forces them to hear the thoughts they've been running from. Here's an important fact. Psychologists at Yale University found that people who spend at least 20 to 30 minutes a day in solitude show 3 times higher levels of creativity and concentration. And Harvard neurophysiologists add, when the brain enters a state of rest, it activates networks responsible for self-reflection and decision-making. In other words, in silence, you start to understand who you are and what you truly want. Solitude becomes dangerous only when a man doesn't know what he seeks in it. But if you use it consciously, it becomes a strategic weapon. A true man doesn't run from silence. He creates it. He knows that it's in solitude that the most precise decisions, the strongest ideas, and the boldest plans are born. Because in solitude, there's no noise of others' opinions. Only you and your honesty with yourself. Practical example. It's no secret that every successful man has a private space. An office, a study, a place where he can be alone with his thoughts. It's one of the most powerful tools that helps them make the right decisions. But that doesn't mean they live in isolation. They have families, friends, and a life. The secret is balance. They create time and space for themselves when it's truly needed. And you can do the same. Even if you don't have a private office, all that matters is finding a way to spend time alone, in silence, with yourself. Some may say, it's boring to be alone. But if you're bored in your own company, maybe you just haven't met your real self yet. The world constantly demands that we stay connected. But in reality, the more connected you are to the noise, the less connected you are to yourself. True focus doesn't come in moments of tension. It comes in moments of clarity. So choose a time each day when you disconnect from everything. Phone away, no notifications, just you, your thoughts, and your plan for life. When a man starts practicing strategic solitude, he stops reacting to chaos and begins to control it. He becomes calmer, more confident. Decisions come faster because they're made from clarity, not emotion. And here's the paradox. The more comfortable you are being alone, the easier it becomes to be with others. Because you no longer seek approval, you're already in harmony with yourself. Strategic solitude is not detachment from the world. It's a tool for controlling your mind, your time, and your inner balance. While others get lost in the noise, you find yourself. And that's what truly separates the effective from everyone else. Have you noticed how everything now feels dull unless it's fast, flashy, and intense? Every notification, short video, game, even a new purchase gives your brain a microdose of pleasure. That's dopamine, the chemical responsible for motivation and the desire to act. And here's the trap. When your brain gets easy access to pleasure, it stops valuing effort. And when effort loses its value, real achievements stop bringing joy. Interesting fact, the term dopamine detox didn't come from psychologists. It came from entrepreneurs in Silicon Valley. The very people who built the apps realized they had become their own victims. They struggled to focus, to rest, even to think without constant stimulation. That's when the idea appeared. Temporarily turn off dopamine triggers to bring the brain back to its natural focus state. Scientific data. A Stanford School of Medicine study showed that after just 3 days without constant notifications, participants' anxiety levels dropped by 27%, and their ability to sustain attention almost doubled. Meanwhile, Harvard neuroscientists confirmed that even 1 day without digital noise restores the activity of the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for self-control and decision-making. Simply put, each day you spend not depending on constant stimulation, your brain relearns how to enjoy life itself, not just its imitation. Philosophy of the habit. A dopamine detox isn't about rejecting pleasure, it's about reclaiming control over your attention, because whoever controls your attention controls your life. Practical approach. If you want your focus and energy back, start small. Delete unnecessary apps. Turn off notifications. Don't reach for your phone first thing in the morning. And at least once a week, spend a full day without screens. No movies, no mobile games, no endless scrolling. Just be in reality. Even one silent day helps you regain control over dopamine. You start to feel the taste of life again, not of pixels. There's even a running joke among startup founders. Anyone who can survive a full day without their phone deserves seed funding for their self-discipline. But like most jokes, it's based on truth. Remember this, he who doesn't control dopamine will always be a puppet of his desires. But he who learns to reclaim silence becomes the man before whom the noise itself bows. When you regain silence and control over your desires, you realize something profound. Life doesn't require constant tension or noise to be productive. Power comes when your mind is clear and your attention is directed toward what truly matters. And here's what's interesting. That's when you begin to notice the subtle details that most people miss. How your environment affects you, how the people and habits around you shape your energy. And that brings us to the next habit, environmental design. Understanding that every object, every habit, and every person around you either lifts you higher or pulls you down. And the more aware you become of this, the better your day, your work, and your life become. The modern world is designed to distract you. Every minute, someone is fighting for your attention. Notifications, feeds, news, other people's emotions. But if you want to control your life, you must first learn to control the space around you. The first step isn't your thoughts, it's order. Don't try to clean up your mind. If your surroundings are in chaos, start simple. Clear your workspace, organize your things, clean your room, because visual clutter is a mirror of internal collapse. Research from Princeton University found that when the brain sees disorder, it perceives every object as a new task, even if you're not consciously aware of it. The result? Cognitive overload, reduced focus, rising inner tension. In other words, chaos drains your energy, even when you're just looking at it. But notice what happens once you put everything in its place. A strange calm settles in. That's not an illusion. It's your brain responding to structure. Cortisol, the stress hormone, drops, while activity in the prefrontal cortex, responsible for self-control, increases. That's why people who live in organized environments make decisions faster and act with greater confidence. And remember, order in your home means order in your mind. But don't forget, your environment isn't just physical. As the saying goes, tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are. If you're surrounded by negativity, gossip, drama, or emotional chaos, you lose focus. Psychologists from Yale University have proven that the emotional atmosphere of your environment directly impacts your productivity. You might not notice it, but the habits of those around you quietly become your own. So, clean not only your room, clean your circle. Remove the noise from every corner of your life, and you'll finally hear yourself. When you bring order to the outside world, you reclaim control within. You start seeing clearer, thinking sharper, feeling stronger. Everything becomes simpler because the unnecessary disappears. And that's when you generate inner energy. That's when you find strength, because that's what separates a man who drifts with the current from a man who commands it. True strength comes not only from action, but from the way you think. In a world where information attacks from every direction, and everyone is desperate to convince you of their version of the truth, the ability to question, doubt, and analyze becomes your personal superpower. Why this works? According to research from Stanford, those who regularly reevaluate their beliefs reduce cognitive bias and make sharper decisions. Harvard neuroscientists confirm critical analysis activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for impulse control and complex reasoning. Simply put, when you think deeply, you train your ability to choose wisely. People who question information daily become harder to manipulate. They separate fact from emotion and act from clarity, not confusion. How to apply it? When you read or hear something new, ask yourself, who's saying this? Where's the evidence? Can I verify it myself? Before making a decision, pause and ask, is this fact or assumption? Am I being guided by logic or emotion? Once a week, debate your ideas with someone you respect. Sometimes, what feels like truth is just comfortable thinking. This habit unites everything that came before. Silence allows you to hear more. Strategic solitude gives you space to think. Dopamine control clears the mind of noise. Control over chaos creates focus within and around you. And now, critical thinking lets you see through the illusions that trap most people. You stop reacting to every word, every stimulus. You begin to see through the chaos and move with precision. You become the man who governs his life, not the one ruled by it. Conclusion: do not let your mind go passive. Question, doubt, analyze. Then, every step, every action, every decision will truly belong to you. And that is where real power begins. True mastery of life isn't luck. It's built through deliberate habits and the courage to live with clarity and purpose. When these five merge, you stop reacting to life. You begin to lead it. You become a man whose presence commands respect, whose mind is sharp, whose actions are deliberate. Because power is not in action alone. It's in the union of thought, focus, and strategy. A disciplined man doesn't chase success. He creates it. And that, gentlemen, is what sets the truly effective apart from everyone else. Now that you are familiar with these habits, take a moment to reflect. We do not promise quick victories, and our path will not be easy, but we offer knowledge that will help you build your own legacy. We do not give you a pill of success, but we provide tools that can transform your life. You may choose to walk with us, changing your life, or continue living by the old rules. The choice is yours. But remember one thing: this is not a sprint. It is a long walk. We do not produce videos just for the sake of videos. We carefully select only the finest ideas for you. Our videos are nourishment for the mind, giving you the opportunity for real change. Do not stand aside, watching others build their legacy. It is time to build your own. AUREUM.